Tobias, welcome back to the channel. You are at the biggest real estate fair in Germany, and you want to tell us about who loses in the current market environment and who wins under the current real estate market conditions. But first, tell us more about the fair that you're currently at.
Yes, hi Axel. Thanks for having me again. Currently, I'm at the Expo Real. It's one of the biggest exhibition in terms of real estate in Europe, actually. So you hear a lot of people talking French, Spanish, English, of course. So people there from London, from the United States, and of course Germans also. And yeah, this is a very main event. So we're looking forward to it each year, because we meet people from the market, we meet banks, we meet investors, we meet sellers from projects. So in this case, it's a very important fair and a big opportunity also. And it's still we get the feeling of the market again. What do other people challenge with, or other companies? What are the opportunities for the future? And that's why we attend this exhibition.
Cool. Is this your first Expo Real that you've had?
No, it was my fourth or fifth actually. So each year, despite COVID, there was no exhibition, but before and after, of course, we attended.
Before we come to this one, because I have a feeling that this is going to be a lot different than the years before, tell us about the last couple of years where you are at. The real estate market has been booming, right? So I guess the overall market sentiment and how people behaved, everything was like beautiful over the last couple of years, except this one, huh?
Yeah, it's true. It was very exciting actually. There was a big like excitement in the exhibition. You heard talking about deals on each corner, and people are like pushing each other for the next heights. And after COVID, it was like there were not so many people because of the situation with the COVID crisis. People were also afraid with infection, etc. But generally, this was also a good exhibition because the market was still stable, and they were all surviving COVID pretty much very well, especially in the residential area and micro apartments, etc. But this year, it's you feel that a lot of parties are kind of under pressure. You can say it like this. And people are somehow afraid of their jobs, and if they are working at big corporations, because that's usually in big like in our cycles. What you have when it's working well, companies of course need new employees, etc., etc. And as soon as it goes down, or it's somehow in turbulences, they want to get rid of their people again, because it's of course expensive for the companies. And this is also one very important outcome. Who will survive, or who has the biggest opportunities, is I think the companies who are agile and who are able to be flexible, and don't have a big, we call it water tank in the head with a lot of costs, the whole high cost structure with the companies.
Yeah, you just told me before we started recording that people are not that happy, and especially yesterday there was like a podium discussion, a lot of people complaining. What's the issue really? So maybe not all viewers are that deep into the German real estate market. So what's the issue currently? What are people complaining about?
Yeah, it was very interesting because there was one a man from politics. It was Mrs. Professor Dr. Merck. She's the head of construction, the construction rights. I don't know how to translate it in English. It's just she's also in politics, but she's taking care of the infrastructure and the buildings in Munich. So she's giving up the permissions if there's a new construction. She was sitting on the podium discussion. And there was one big developer sitting there. There was one banker sitting there, and there was one lady from investor relations from a big asset manager. So a very good setup, let's say. And so, beginning with the woman from the construction department in Munich, she said, "Yeah, the processes are so slow. We need to have like a digital construction permit." process. So the digitalization in this case. Then the developer said, yeah, we have the problem is like in the last 20 years we went from like 4.50 interest rates. It went down to zero in like 10 years. So it was very slowly going down. And now we rose up from 0 to 4% in like just 3 months. And this is, of course, it's a high pressure on the market. And he said, yeah, why does it need to be like this fast? Okay, yeah, we know inflation is high, and it needs to be reduced. But the danger is in the economy that companies are going broke because of this. So it went up too fast. And on the other side, the banker said, which was very interesting to me, they want to give up loans for companies to do new constructions and to develop their business, but they are limited because of the BaFin, which rose the necessary equity regulation by 2%. So, and he was talking to our finance minister, Mr. Lindner, and they had a meeting, and he said, why can't we just have a special situation right now and leave the equity requirements like it was before, in good times? And he said, no, it's not the right timing, or whatever. So it was very interesting. So the banks want to do something, but they are also limited by the government. So summing it up, it all comes back to the government. We have to reduce the bureaucratic costs. The bureaucratic delays has to be reduced, and of course we have to give people, for example, property buyers or like real estate buyers for the first time, like give them a subsidy with the reduced taxes or something, like that they have an incentive of buying a property. Yeah. So this was basically the conclusion. There has to be a political shift.
This is so interesting that very different parties talking to each other, but the lady for the building permission says there's no digitalization, which is government, that we don't have this digital infrastructure. Then the developer complains about the high interest rate, which is politically manipulated, right? Because the ECB sets the key interest rate for the European Union, or for the Eurozone at least. And the banker can't give out any more loans, even though they probably really want to do it, because now it's worth it for them again with the higher interest rate.
Correct, yeah. And yeah, and the asset manager said, yeah, there are so many big investors. They say, yeah, they don't need to spend. Okay, they would actually go into real estate, but as the bonds rose in the prices, their asset allocation shifted towards real estate, because the real estate sector is now too big in their asset allocation. So this is very interesting. They can't, even because of the regulation in the fund structure. So it's all, yeah, very interesting that most of the parties were complaining about politics.
But then I think it's at least good, huh? Because then maybe something's gonna be done if the political side of things gets attacked basically from all fronts. Because if only bankers would complain and nobody else, then maybe this would be shut down very easily. But if all sides complain, maybe they'll do something eventually.
Yeah, I mean, they have to do that. We need new living space. We need people coming to Germany again and again. And we are happy that they come, actually, in most cases, because we need them. And so living is one of the essential rights for people in Germany, and therefore we need to do something.
Yeah, it's very weird currently, right? If you think about it, because there's economic downturn, and in economic downturns, okay, property prices fall a little bit, as we've seen in the last video that we've did, right? That we had like this 10% decline or something that seems to bottom out a little bit. But in times of economic downturn, there's also rents that are falling usually. But currently in Germany, we have the exact opposite. Property prices are falling and rents are going through the roof, like plus 20% increase in Berlin this year alone, or even more. It's extremely weird. This has probably never happened before.
Yeah, and I mean, how, like in terms of economics, how can you reduce this increase of the rents just with giving more opportunities for people to rent some other spaces, so yeah, the prices will fall? That's just economics. And this sometimes, most of the people here don't understand why politics always want to intervene and do with new regulation, again, regulation. Let the market be the market, and the market will find a solution. And this is a big outcome here in this exhibition, that most of the people argue about the politics, that they are too deep into our business.
Now, this is probably not going to go away over the next couple of years, but the economy might pick up, probably faster than regulation will go away. So what do you think? Who wins during the next, let's say, short term until the economy recovers, and who wins over the midterm until maybe regulation takes a step back? What are keys to victory here in the German real estate market?
So short term, of course, is that you keep your cost structure very, very low, and just focus on your asset and don't spend money on unnecessarily capacities and whatever. So be small and agile, I would say, and focus on your asset. So just maybe do one asset less or two assets less than expected the last years ago from the business plan, but then do the rest of the assets very well and profitable, also for maybe banks, like to pay back the loans and pay back to investors, etc. So to be profitable, to be just a little bit under the radar, let's say it like this.
That means even less is going to be built, right? Is what we're currently seeing. If companies focus only on one asset at a time or only on real profitable projects, then less and less is going to be built, which is exactly what we're seeing currently in Germany.
Correct, yeah, correct. And also, of course, focus on the asset class. So I would not touch like office buildings right now and office constructions. I don't know. I don't see any big demand in the future for office spaces, and also so it's just an example. So I'm very happy that we focused on residential, to be honest, because I don't see any future decline of the demand soon. So this is very important, and in this case, I think working on residential, like a perfect concept of the living area and on like the building, and to put maybe some features in for people to move in and have a good and healthy building.
Mega trends, like growing German population, then German population getting older, which is, I think, what you're doing in Schwabhausen, right?
Correct, yeah. So yeah, of course, like you said, focus on niches and student living, senior living, and that's what we actually do. And we are happy that we said this is our strategy. And yeah, so we're looking forward to it. Of course, it's there are some challenges to accept, like it is, I think, in every business. So we are not worried. We're happy.
Okay, so you're not on the fair to look for a new job.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not. No, actually, yeah, we got a nice offer from a property with construction permit in a very nice area in south of Germany. So we'll look into this and focus on our assets, what we have currently under management. I think we are good to go there.
Great. Always happy to talk. Always happy to see that there's at least one person or one company in a good mood in the German real estate industry.
There are more, yeah.
There are more. All right.
Thanks.
Any last words that you would like to share with the community?
Maybe last words. So yeah, of course, don't be worried about investing into real estate. Of course, do your due diligence. Check what is the right property, what is the right company. Also, and talk to the companies. They are happy to, like I always say, hey, if some investors want to meet us, want to talk face to face, have some detailed questions, we're happy to answer them. And of course, we are happy to see more investors coming into the real estate market and develop projects with us.
Great. Then wish you a happy day at the fair and see you in the next video.
Thanks, Axel. Have a good day and see you. Bye-bye.